All right, y'all, it's time to talk offensive power. The kind of offense that keeps defensive coordinators up at night and that rip your soul out on that third and long, and they turn 10-point deficits into a 14-point lead in just 3 drives. The NFL is stacked with this type of firepower in today's day and age. But in this episode, we're locking in the top 5 most dangerous, explosive, and efficient offenses heading into this season. Now, this is based off last year's stats, offensive moves, scheme fits, and honestly just a straight-up vibe check. So here are the 5 offenses that nobody wants smoke with. And trust me, there's probably a team or two on this list that's going to make one of you want to say my takes are trash. And I'm all here for it. So let's get into it. Starting at number 5 is a team that flipped the script last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A squad that looked like a rebuild in 2023 suddenly became a dark horse juggernaut in 2024. Baker Mayfield, that's why. Say what you want, but he had 4,500 passing yards and 41 touchdowns. Look, the numbers don't lie. This was a career renaissance, and he did it by trusting his weapons and delivering darts under pressure. And that's because his O-line, it gave him time. The right receivers, they won their matchups, and suddenly this offense was dropping 30 on contenders' heads like it was nothing. Now, don't get me started on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, because these two are still one of the best 2 punches in football. And now they've added Emeka Egbuka, who they drafted in the first round, a silky smooth route runner who's going to feast at wide receiver 3. And this run game is also sneakily dangerous. Bucky Irvin is electric in space, Rachaad White's a versatile weapon, and Sean Tucker brings the juice on early downs. Now, this unit finished top 3 in yards and 4th in points per game. If you think that was a fluke, just look at the personnel. This is real, sustainable production. Now, did they lose their offensive coordinator and Liam Cohen, who's now the head coach of the Jags? Yes, but their roster stayed mostly intact and didn't lose any big names. You just hope that Godwin comes back healthy and effective, and if he does, this offense can still be very dynamic, and that's why I have him at number 5. Now, let's talk about a team with real weapons and real potential year after year, and that's the Buffalo Bills. I have them at number 4, and let's make no mistake. This is Josh Allen's league. Well, if, and that's a big if, Patrick Mahomes wasn't in it. But Josh Allen's a top 3 quarterback year after year. And last year, he may have been number 1 because he won the MVP in 2024 by doing what he does best, making impossible plays look routine. And he had 30.9 points per game and 10th in total offense. And they did this all while flying under the radar after a shaky start. But here's the secret sauce. Joe Brady's system prioritizes efficiency. They're not chucking it 50 times a game. They're picking their spots, they're staying ahead of the sticks, and they're finishing drives. Allen averaged fewer pass attempts per game than Mahomes, Burrow, and even Goff, but he still finished top 3 in total touchdowns. That's efficient. And not only that, James Cook became a legit running back 1 with nearly 400 more scrimmage yards than the next Bills player. That's versatility, that's volume, and that is value. And not only that, the weapons got deeper. They signed Joshua Palmer and Elijah Moore. Now, I know, these guys aren't wide receiver 1s, but they are going to thrive with Allen and drawing safety attention and manipulating coverages. Now, their O-line was one of the healthiest and most cohesive in football. The stability up front allowed Allen to extend plays, run when needed, and limit turnovers. Now look, the Bills may not lead the league in yards, but they know how to score, they dominate situational downs, and they've got the best quarterback in football, not named Lamar. Now moving on to number 3, we've got the Cinderella story team turned superpower, and that is the Washington Commanders. This offense went from league punchline to playoff sledgehammer in literally 1 season, and it all starts with one name, Jayden Daniels. This rookie broke records like they were made of glass. 891 rush yards, the most ever by a rookie quarterback, and nearly 70% completion rate. 70% in today's economy? Come on, bro. That is absurd. Now, Daniels was the first quarterback in NFL history to hit 1,000 passing yards and 250 rushing yards in his first 5 games. That's not just historic, that's revolutionary. And Cliff Kingsbury deserves all the flowers. He crafted an offense around Daniel's strengths: quick reads, RPOs, designated QB runs, and vertical shots when the defense got too greedy. But here's where it gets crazy, because Washington didn't just sit on their hands this offseason. They went shopping. They traded for Deebo Samuel, a yak machine who can line up anywhere and make defenders miss on the point of a dime. They traded for Laramie Tunzel, one of the best left tackles in football. PFF had him 4th overall among tackles in 2024. So that's lockdown protection for a mobile quarterback who needs clean pockets and movement lanes. Oh, And did I forget to mention Terry McLaurin? Yeah, he's still here, still elite, still putting up 1,000-yard seasons and double-digit scores with ice in his veins. Someone should test that man at NFL. Figure it out. And then you have Brian Robinson Jr., who finally hit his stride as a true running back one, and rookie tackle Josh Connolly Jr. adding depth to that offensive line. And suddenly this is one of the most complete offenses in football. Because, I mean, last year, literally, they went crazy. They finished 4th in EPA per play, scored on over 50% of their drives, and converted an absurd 87% of their 4th downs. That's not just explosive. It should be freaking illegal. Now, is Daniels going to be better in year 2? He could be. Could he have a sophomore slump? Possibly. But even still, Washington might be number 1 by midseason. So, obviously, a lot lies on the quarterback here with Jayden Daniels. But if he continues this track, I could easily see them jumping up on this list. Yo, real quick, if you made it this far into the video, you the real MVP. For real, I appreciate you. And if you're a diehard NFL junkie like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I drop NFL content almost daily. I'm talking breakdowns, rants, hot takes, all of that. And if you're a Bears fan like me, well, first off, I am very, very, very sorry because we have been through it. But if you want to suffer together in style, then check out my Bears podcast with my guy Dave. It's called the BFR Podcast, which is short for Bears Film Room. And it is the #1 show for the fans, by the fans, where we have weekly episodes, live shows, special guests, and most importantly, we don't sugarcoat a thing. And if you want to keep up with me, get a little laugh, or even see me smile during Bears games, then make sure to follow me on IG, TikTok, and Twitter at itsfickybaby, which is ITSFICKYBABY. All right, enough of the plug, I get it. Let's get back to the episode. Now, at number 2 is Motor City's finest, the Detroit Lions. Now, they didn't just turn heads in 2024. They've been dropping jaws for like the past 3 seasons. Last year, they had 33.2 points per game, 70, and I repeat, 70 total touchdowns. And they did it with physicality, creativity, and a little bit of Dan Campbell insanity. Now, Jared Goff has had a renaissance. He's not proved he's just a stopgap. He's a field general when you give him time and play action looks. And Amon-Ra St. Brown was a technician last year, 81.6% catch rate, which was second best in 3 decades among wide receivers who had 100-plus targets. And in the backfield, you got Sonic and Knuckles. First off with Jahmyr Gibbs, who led the NFL with 20 touchdowns. Dude's basically a joystick. And then you got David Montgomery, who punishes defenders who even think about arm tackling him. Not only that the Lions brought back 10 out of 11 not only that, the Lions brought back 10 out of the 11 offensive starters. And that's rare in the NFL. Having the same guys back matters, and chemistry matters. Now, they did just lose a big one in Frank Ragnow, who's an all-pro center, so that's definitely going to hurt them. But overall, they're bringing back almost everyone, and consistency is key. But speaking of people they lost, sure, they lost Ben Johnson, and that is a big loss. As a Bears fan, I'm so happy they lost Ben Johnson, but we do have to take that into effect. But John Morton, the new offensive coordinator, isn't coming in to reinvent the wheel. He's here to add fuel to a sports car that's already doing 90 and a 60. You don't need to build the thing from scratch because they nearly averaged 8 explosive plays per game last season. That's screen passes, shot plays, reverses, and every trick play in the book. Because this offense can beat you vertically, punish you inside, and embarrass you on 3rd and 3. And if Goff can stay protected, which is with this offensive line, which I think will happen, and the run game stays humming, and St. Brown is still your wide receiver 1, Detroit is a nightmare matchup for any defense week after week. And we get to our number 1 team on the list. And at the top of this mountain, we have the Baltimore Ravens, the bullies of the AFC, and in my opinion, the most complete offense in the NFL, no question. And that's due to this man alone, Lamar Jackson. He didn't just win his 2nd MVP. He ascended 4,900 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, and he still gave you over 600 yards on the ground. This dude is a freaking unicorn. He's evolved. He's reading defenses like a vet, and he's taking what the defense gives and still pulling off jaw-dropping highlights literally every week. And not only that, you then got Derrick Henry, who's the perfect back to complement him. Nearly 2,000 rushing yards in 2024, and more importantly, he wears defenses down so Lamar can shred them late. This offense led the league in rushing with 187 yards per game, but don't call them one-dimensional. This team also led the entire NFL in total offense with 424 yards per game. And now you add in DeAndre Hopkins into the mix. You've got a veteran red zone target who wins 50-50 balls and commands attention in the slot and out wide. And yeah, I know he's old as dirt, but he's still going to have an impact in the red zone, and that's huge for this squad. And you also got Zay Flowers, who's ascending. Mark Andrews is still one of the best tight ends in the game. And the offensive line, top 3 in both run blocking and pass protection last year. Offensive coordinator Todd Monken he's at least the full playbook. RPOs, deep shots, bootlegs, QB power, you name it. This scheme is tailor-made for Lamar's arsenal. And let's not forget, this offense drops 30 on the scoreboard without breaking a sweat. They ranked 3rd in scoring, but easily could have been number 1 last year if they didn't decide to rest their starters late in the year. And with the running back, the same squad, staying healthy and having unmatched balance, Baltimore is still the team to beat in 2025. So that's the list. What do you think? Who's got the top offense in the league? Are the Commanders going to be that good again? And is Baltimore just inevitable at this point? Can Goff keep up the magic? Is Maker going to be real this year, or is that just a flash in the pan? Are we sleeping on someone like the 49ers or the Bengals offense? Let me know in the comments. Who did I get right? Who did I snub? And which offense will truly own 2025? All right, that's my top 5. So make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more NFL daily videos. And remember, stay sharp, stay dangerous, and I'm out. Peace.